Man, is that the Reefer Man?
That's the Reefer Man.
Marijuana.
I believe he's losing his mind.
I think he's lost his mind.
Reefer Madness Radio. What's up, everybody? How's it going? November 1st in the Mile High City. This is Reefer Madness Radio. Cool show for you here today. My name is Mark. Normally, Citizen J is joining us. I don't want to say it's fortunately or unfortunately, but he has some family business to attend to tonight. That's okay. Got some good friends with us. Got Blowing Mad Trees, a local rap group. Got JayRay, Johnny. What's up, guys?
What's going on? I'm JonnyBlaze.
I'm JayRay.
Heck yeah. Also got Dane with us. He was here last time, a couple shows ago, from River Rock CRTV on YouTube. What's up, Dane?
What's up, guys?
Awesome. So let's just get right into it. We got a guest. We're gonna give a call here in just a minute. If you guys, I posted on Twitter, on Facebook. Something happened in Missouri. Show Me Cannabis. It's a group. They're an activist group in Missouri. They have a town hall meeting with a retired narcotics sergeant. It seems like everything went well with the meeting, but then the narcotics sergeant went home on Facebook and apparently, well, not apparently, I can read exactly what he said. He had a bunch of negative things to say about people that smoke cannabis.
Boo.
Exactly.
Right.
A quick scan of the room should by itself be ample evidence for not legalizing marijuana. It scared the hell out of me that these people could actually go to the polls and vote. Okay, there was a good location. It talks about it being at the library. It was held at the Cape Gardeau Public Library. It was a good location because it offered many in the group an opportunity to actually visit a library, possibly for the first time in their life. Yeah, and it goes on to say, voice my opinions and they voice theirs. Tomorrow I go back to fighting crime and serving the public, and they go back to drawing their welfare check and trying to figure out how to legally grow marijuana. So, it's like, as a public servant, retired.
You should have a little. You should be more upstanding than that.
Exactly.
That's a really big assumption for you to make about a group of people that haven't spent any time with at all, and being a public figure. For you to say that, especially in a public forum like Facebook, that's unprofessional.
Exactly, because he is a cop. I mean, it's like you're entitled to say what you want to say, but not when it's ignorant and wrong. I mean, people are then entitled to kind of correct you on it.
Right.
So John Payne, the leader, the organizer of this Show Me Cannabis, essentially wrote a response, an open letter. I loved his response, and we want to get him on the phone.
Right.
So we're going to give him a call.
I read the letter too, and I like it. I want to hear this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We're going to give him a call. We're going to talk to him. And see what he has to say. It should be good. Exactly. Because it's also just, as an activist organization, it'd be interesting to have, know what else they're doing.
Especially in Missouri.
John, this is Mark with Reefer Madness Radio. How are you doing tonight, man?
Good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Just kind of briefly talked about what's going on with the audience. So let's talk a little bit about your organization first. So it's Show Me Cannabis. What exactly is, I guess, your official title, and what is it that your group is doing?
I'm the executive director of Show Me Cannabis, and we're pretty much the leading legalization advocacy group in the state of Missouri, which is why we're called. A lot of people from out of state don't get the name, but we're the Show Me state, so Show Me Cannabis.
Yeah, exactly.
People in Missouri always get it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm from Iowa, actually. I grew up in Des Moines. So it's kind of one of the reasons this kind of caught my eye, because, being from Missouri, I have to, it's obviously a prohibition there. And to have a group, I'm just looking at your Facebook, it seems like you have thousands, like 20,000, some people that have liked your group. You have town hall meetings. It seems like you're active doing things every week. I guess talk about, before we really get into this, what is it like to be in a prohibition state while you try and be an activist and be out there?
It can be tough, but I will say that in some ways it's actually good for the movement because people are fired up about it. I think in some states where the laws are more liberalized, that people can be a little bit more complacent because of the fact that, it's not so bad. But in Missouri, we still arrest 20,000 people for possession of cannabis every year, and there are no laws allowing for medical marijuana. It's outside of in Columbia, which is where the University of Missouri is. There's a local decriminalization ordinance and a local ordinance that if you have a doctor's recommendation from whatever state or locality, you can use that in court to get charges dismissed. So there is a medical marijuana thing in Colombia, but that's pretty much it. And St. Louis also has decriminalization. But as far as the state goes, yeah, it's pretty repressive with regards to our cannabis laws. And so people are very interested in trying to change those laws because there are a lot of people that are personally aggrieved by them.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that there's a lot of, everybody knows somebody that's been personally affected by the prohibition as far as going to jail, having, just charges brought up against them, like having their lives be negatively affected, not by the cannabis, but by the prohibition of cannabis.
Absolutely. Actually, there's a case, and we haven't talked about it a whole lot yet, but we're probably going to be sending out a release about it next week. But there is a guy, this was fairly recently brought to our attention, but he is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole currently for 3 cannabis-only offenses. The last one is a distribution charge, but it was 4 pounds, which, even if you're a prohibitionist, you have to think, well, my God, life in prison for 4 pounds of cannabis, that's insane. And that is obviously, even in Missouri, the exception by far. But nonetheless, there's a real person serving life in prison for cannabis. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Especially like we live in Colorado and we can just go into stores and buy it and we can have us honest and share it with our friends, right, and there's no problem. And we're making YouTube videos and being on the radio about it. And then something like that, it's just like, what's going on? So it's great to hear, know of groups like yours that are doing things, as much as you can do to, put a stop to these, the Reefer Madness, right? To do something
Absolutely.
about it in these prohibition states.
These policies are completely, they've been crazy forever, but I think now, people are finally starting to recognize that. And so I think we're on the verge of changing the laws here in Missouri, and not just here in Missouri, but pretty much nationwide. I think it's cannabis prohibition days are quite numbered.
That's good to hear, actually. That's always nice.
I agree with that. I think we're right on the cusp of something monumental here in the next few years. We're going to see a lot more states follow suit with the states that have legalized.
So, John, what is it like? It was a specific kind of thing that happened here. You were having a town hall meeting. Like, what exactly was this? We've been going around the state, specifically to a lot of the smaller communities. We haven't gone to really, really small towns, but basically we've been trying to get everywhere that has a population of over 10,000 but isn't one of the 2 major metro areas, St. Louis or Kansas City. We go to those as well, but we're mostly trying to get into the more rural areas where we don't traditionally have as much support, where the crowds are a bit more conservative, and typically the polling would show that the population as a whole is less supportive of changing the cannabis laws. And so we were down in Cape Girardeau, which is in southeast Missouri, close to where I grew up myself, and that's definitely one of the most conservative parts of the state by far. Mm-hmm. And so we were having a town hall meeting down there. Good crowd turned out, had about 100 people there, and we were having had a state representative for Republican, actually, and Gary Wiegert, who is a lobbyist for us and is also a St. Louis City police officer, and myself. We were all on the panel, and we were talking about, the problems with prohibition, that sort of thing. And during the question and answer session, a guy who had served on the Southeast Missouri SEMO Drug Task Force for, I think, close to 30 years, started asking questions and arguing a little bit with us, and it was a civil enough exchange. He actually very, very early on said, well, no country has ever legalized marijuana. I was like, well, that's not true. And he was like, nope, the Netherlands hasn't legalized it. I was like, but you're right about that. But the thing is Uruguay just legalized and regulated their industry, and that's, being worked out as we speak. Mm-hmm. He was a bit misinformed, but nonetheless, I thought he was fairly civil at the meeting. The only thing is that then he went home, and when he thought, I suppose, that no one was looking, posted something to his Facebook profile, which was not in any way private. He didn't change the privacy settings on this. So there were people that saw it that knew him, that also knew me, and told me about it. And, he said some very disparaging things about pretty much everyone that was at that meeting.
I don't have the quote in front of me, but he basically said that it was good that they had the meeting at the library because it afforded many of the people in attendance the opportunity to visit a library for the first time, and that he was, it frightened him that the people there actually voted, and that most of them are probably, that everyone there was just going to go out the next day and cash their welfare check. And it was just very irresponsible comments, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of quoted some of them earlier, but yeah, you got them, you pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, verbatim, generally.
Yeah, it's, I guess in Facebook, you can go on and say what you say, but, you change some settings, and so he wasn't necessarily part of the debate initially at the meeting, right? He kind of then was just kind of came out of the crowd and was kind of had his opinions.
Yeah, and I mean that is actually part of what we do with these things. I mean, I was happy that he was there. Frankly, we want our opposition to come to these things and engage in a debate, and his participation at the meeting was quite welcome.
Sure.
So we have, we speak for maybe 15, 20 minutes of the panel, and then we open it up for people to give their comments or ask questions. And so, he was totally, he was a bit combative, but we disagreed. That's fine. At the meeting, I thought his behavior was fine, though, on the whole. So I had no objection to that. It's just, at the meeting, he didn't say these sort of disparaging things to the people there. And so I think it's really an affront to go home and say these things when you aren't actually facing them. I'm a big believer that if you want to say something about somebody, then say it to their face.
Yeah, if you're going to insult them.
And that's my biggest problem with it, frankly. If he wanted to say that, he could have said it. I still think it would have been wrong. It's not civil, but at least people that have a chance to respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if he wants to say that, he doesn't believe that prohibition is the problem, then I guess he's entitled to that opinion, but he's not necessarily, I guess he can go home and insult people personally on his Facebook if he wants to, but it's just ignorant. That's the problem. It's not that he's voicing his opinion. It's not that he came to a town hall meeting and had the other opinion. It's that he's getting personally insulting to people, and it's just wrong. It's just not correct. I mean, I was reading quotes from people that some girl that said she'd been, was there, but she's a part-time student, goes, has a couple of jobs, visits the library every day, probably more than that guy has ever been to the library, and it's just not, it was just a very ignorant thing for him to say.
Yeah, and I think that's the main problem is that, yes, he's certainly entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to be able to express that opinion, but, when he says something that is both false and insulting, well, we have a right to, come back at that and say, no, you're wrong, and we're going to demonstrate that to you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's awesome. So I guess one last question will get you out on this. Where does it go from here? I think I saw somewhere where he was kind of encouraged to then be part of a more public debate, or of you, and I saw this letter that you wrote to him, obviously that was great and very well written, but what's the next step? Where do you and your organization go from here?
We've right now we have a petition on our website. You can go to showmecannabis.com and find that, and it's asking for him to either apologize or to step down as vice president of the Missouri Narcotics Officers Association. Now, that's not he's retired, so that's not his job or anything. It's just that's an advocacy group that is quite prohibitionist, and that's fine. They obviously have a right to that opinion, but when he's saying these things, I think it raises questions about his motivation for advocating those policies. And it also raises questions of, is that the stance of the Missouri Narcotics Officers Association, that everyone who advocates the legalization of marijuana is, a illiterate welfare recipient? And so we're doing that, and yes, I challenged him, Kevin Glazer is that guy's name, to a debate, and he has passed on that. But Jason Relner, who is the president of the Missouri Narcotics Officers Association, has emailed me, or he told the Riverfront Times, which is a paper here in St. Louis, that he would be willing to debate me. So we're working out the details of that, but we're probably going to debate either in St. Louis or possibly in my hometown of Poplar Bluff. In December, most likely.
Well, just know that we'll be out here rooting for you if that actually goes through, because I would love to hear that. I'd love to listen to
Yeah, we're if we get it once we get it scheduled, I think I'm going to do everything in my power to get that live streamed and done where it can be viewed by people across the country.
That's awesome. That's great. And where can, I actually appreciate you joining us. Where can people get more information about you and your organization and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, like I said, you can go to showmecannabis.com, or you can also you can get involved in our mobile campaign by texting SMC for Show Me Cannabis to 420-420.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. So I'll include links to that, your Facebook, your website, in the description of this video. And I definitely appreciate you coming on. Best of luck to you, and I guess we'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, great. I'd love to come back.
Great. Thanks, man.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Awesome. That's cool.
That went well.
That was great.
I like that guy.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the thing of having him on. Like we were talking about, I don't want to get into drama of the Facebook, but kind of what that organization is doing. Like that's cool.
I'm really intrigued that he challenged that Kevin Glazer to a debate and was declined, and then met with the current president of the narcotics agency down there in the Show Me state. I'm really interested to hear that debate. I hope he goes through in December.
Yeah, Johnny and I, originally being from Texas, I mean, we definitely felt the prohibition pressure down there. So it's great to hear that.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we got some edibles to munch on, some more things to talk about. It's going to be awesome. Good show. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
The National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
Backyard one?
Awesome. Well, we're back. Reefer Madness Radio. So again, that was John Payne with Show Me Cannabis. We're going to have some links to his group in the description. I think he's really doing a cool thing, and I think he's definitely leading by example. Like, I definitely talk to people in other states that are just not able to move. Obviously the thing, if you want legal, consistent access, you have to move to Colorado, California, Seattle, or do something about it in the state that you live in. So it's kind of cool to see that that's, I guess a good model, because, I'm not sure that I really know. I just make YouTube videos.
I mean, and Missouri's not really one of those states that you see a whole lot of cannabis reformation movement. There's not a real strong presence of that. So I mean, I'm sure that the Show Me Cannabis campaign that he's running is one of the leading campaigns, and to see them succeed at all, is really good.
Yeah, I mean, town hall meetings, like going across the state.
That's pretty
like,
big, and for the narcotics, the president of the narcotics agency over there to be intrigued for a debate. I mean, that's big news there. That's big news there. You
to even talk to him,
right? To acknowledge the fact that the Show Me Cannabis is in existence that's breakthrough in itself. So
and not like arrest everybody as they leave. Like, I don't. That's what I would be worried about.
You're getting searched on the way out.
Like you showed up in defense of cannabis. Like what? You must. That's like some sort of reason to search you in your home and in some sort of helicopter. And, that's what I would feel like in Missouri. That's what it
right because I mean, again, there's not a whole lot of cannabis reformation there. So. And I'm sure their laws, like you said, are pretty strict.
Like I said, I'm from Iowa, and it's essentially the same thing. Like, there's no really leeway. Like, if you have a bunch of seeds and stems, like, you might as well count that as weight. Like, if you're just whatever, like smoking in your basement, like
zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance. You should still be kind of worried.
Just like he said, the man that was sentenced to life in prison for those three criminal acts involving marijuana.
Yeah, it's cool to know that there's one little pocket of town. Again, College City seems to be the place where things are the most, I guess, liberal, the most open mind.
Right.
Although, actually, I think I read somewhere where that John Payne is actually fairly conservative in his just political worldview. So it would be interesting to talk to him about someone that kind of has a conservative worldview, how they view that cannabis should still be legalized because it's small government, it's less laws, not less laws,
right?
But, small government, like personal freedom, like that sort of thing.
Conservative doesn't necessarally mean that they have to be against marijuana laws. So that would be interesting.
Cool. Dude, we should eat some edibles. These are it's going to be some incredible. It's a 200 milligram peanut butter Buddha bar.
2 of them.
We got 2 of them. Johnny actually brought them from Livewell down the road.
Word.
Awesome. Actually, Incredibles has been really nice to us. They've been helping us out with the show, so it's actually kind of a cool thing that we're able to try out some of their product here on the show. This is 200 milligrams in these little like 3 little bars.
Right. It's a combination of like oil, CO2 oil, butter, and water hash. So you're getting like multiple forms of activated cannabis.
And it's peanut butter and pretzel. I can't really argue.
There's really there's like pretzels like in the bottom of it. There's all these others. There's peach and whatnot. Like what is it? A white chocolate?
I'm not sure. Oh, that peach is white chocolate. Yeah. It's infused with peach.
Are they all? What kind of chocolate are these all? These all like a white chocolate?
It's white chocolate with peanut butter and then pretzel.
You got to do what you got to do.
Awesome. And this should take. Hopefully by the end of the show, we'll be able to know if we're.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Having any effects from it.
How it's feeling. Lab tested at 200 milligrams.
Having those sheets of paper, we got some other things to.
I like this one first.
Right, let's check this one out.
Things to get into, dude. You can Toke the Town. There's some places that, what's that? Mark Emery and Jody Emery have their website that
Pop
they.
TV.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's it.
Kind of a reblog of information, but you could just go to Google and Google cannabis or marijuana or weed, and under news. So things can if you're just sitting around and you're like, what's going on? You can
just look it up.
You can just look it up.
Literally a few keyboard clicks. And mouse
and
clicks,
sometimes some of those websites you can then find the original source, from the local newspaper. They actually had the original article. But anyway, this is from Denver. This is cool. Denver scales back proposed pot rules. Got some writing over there. Would allow backyard smoking. I think essentially the rule. I think we talked about this last time, where there were some people that were trying to have some rules where essentially anybody that could smell pot that didn't want to smell it could call in and report some sort of crime or
and the police would respond as if it was a crime.
Exactly, and that was became a big thing because it's what about people in their backyards? People,
their own public, their own private place.
Yeah, well, place. I mean, even I have I have an apartment, but what if it was a condo? I bought it, I own it, but I am in public view, that sort of thing. But just the idea that someone could report you for the smell of it. Given, like I said, there was an article in the local Westward about the top 5 worst smells in Colorado than cannabis would be. You know what I mean? It was just all these just the 16th Street Mall area at 2 a.m., right? Lodo at 4 a.m. It's all these places that's there's really no rules against the smell there. But why are they trying to do it with pot? But essentially, they did back off, saying that yes, you will be allowed to smoke in your backyard. You will be allowed to have it on the 16th Street Mall if you want.
But you can't openly show it, which is the part that I kind of don't like about that, because that directly violates Amendment 64, which states that it will not be punishable by law to openly have marijuana.
So it's to have it, but you just can't use it.
Right, but I'm saying to show it though,
to use and to have are two different things.
No, I mean to have a bag of pot in your hand or to have it like a joint roll behind your ear.
This is from
you can't do that in a park, but you could do it it's saying that you can't do it at the 16th Street Mall. I mean, you can have it, but you cannot show it.
A city council member: anyone is free to have marijuana in these locations. They are only prohibited from waving it around.
See, it's kind of like alcohol. You can drink sometimes in public places. In some states, you just have to conceal it in a brown bag. You can't.
Right.
Or even can't you not walk down the 16th Street Mall with a 24 pack just in your hand?
If
not
it's
consuming.
Open, I'm not familiar on the laws here in Colorado.
But I would just assume that as long as you're not consuming it, it really doesn't matter if people like see that your bag has a pot leaf on it, or you know what I mean. Like I don't see that. I see not using it in public. That's fine if they want to say no. 16 too small.
That's influential.
Whatever. You got some.
I think what they mean is you can use it in public, but if you use it in like an adult manner, like let's say you have a vaporizer, or it's concealed, maybe a pipe that's electric or something, and not just whipping out a bong, like a 3-foot bong, and just start taking bong rips on the side of the street. I think they're just trying to differentiate between that, because there is the amendment, and you do have a legal right to have the paraphernalia and everything that's for smoking. And so if you can have it, you're allowed to use it. And which is cool that they did rule the backyard, just because it's like alcohol. You're allowed to drink in your backyard, and cigarettes you can smoke, and your neighbor has to smell your cigarette smoke. So
yeah, it's no different with
just one thing I hate. If you work here in the industry, you guys know a lot of the people in the factories. There's a puppy chow factory, Purina factory, and
that was one of the places that
you just
smelled worse.
Yep. Dog. It's like you open a bag of dog food and stick your head in there. And I'm all for cannabis smell. Sometimes they're trying to regulate filtering our exhaust, so they can't smell it with charcoal filters. But
they're doing nothing about puppy chow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad because like right on.
Yeah,
I-70 that runs east-west. It's right there by River Rock North. Yeah, there's people that just rush hour traffic. Just an hour of like. No, nuts. If you got your dog in the car, it's fucking crazy. Like, dog smell everywhere. But yeah, they don't. Chow. I don't see the city council regulating that.
Right, when they should, because that's pollution of smell. I mean, the same for the same reason that they don't want cannabis to be smelled.
Yeah, and obviously the same. It's been brought up with whole like barbecuing. So yeah, in your backyard, there's no problem. You can smoke up. Obviously, like.
Like just as if there's anything else, right?
Obviously, some backyards are still in public view, though, right? Like you can be sitting in your backyard on your porch, hitting the bong, and somebody, Sally, can be walking down the sidewalk and look at you doing it. Like
it's a natural smell too. It's like regulating someone's flowers. You can't smell daisies because I don't like to smell daisies in my backyard.
So we have to rip up those daisies.
Cannabinoids and flavonoids. It's not a chemical or any toxin. It's natural. So you can't really regulate nature like that.
Especially if you're outside, you can't even say that you're getting secondhand smoke. Right? You're outside.
True, yeah. Health risks.
But, so I think about things like
the infamous secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
What about like tailgating, like Denver Broncos games? Why can't we smoke weed openly?
Can you not?
Yeah, you should be able to blaze down.
I haven't attended a Broncos game this season.
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
I think you're right.
We should.
We'll test this.
Yes, we would. Because, I think, why not? Like, I feel like 3 hours in of a good, some edibles and some good bong rips, like you're still good to go. I feel like 3 hours after not drinking, like the end of a football game, like you're just kind of, I don't know. I see no reason why the even everybody in the stadium, the PR people, the people in charge making money wouldn't kind of get behind it somehow. I don't know. More people buying munchies and food than passing out halfway through the game.
Now, when I smoke, it makes me more interested in stuff. So,
what about when you drink though?
It makes me less interested in certain things and more interested.
Aren't you a little more like crazy?
like ADHD mode, like on to the next thing. Okay, this is done.
You just have a stadium full of introverted people all sitting down, like, what's going on? And like they'd all be like talking and chatting, like shit wouldn't go down. They wouldn't be painting up, beating themselves.
I think that helps though. I think that alcohol helps at some point for the morale of the team.
Started the third quarter, everybody be like, "Wait, hold on, we're not quite done with this conversation. Can we go ahead and just kind of postpone halftime a little bit?
Timeout. Can we get an extra timeout?
We're not quite ready yet. What's going on? That's funny. What is it? What do you got there? What's this next?
That is actually about. It was a really hot topic that I know as of late. It's about marijuana use and parenting.
That's awesome. And what are you smoking?
This here is.
And we're going to talk about this.
That is the Wally OG from Pink House.
From Pink House. That's super. What was it? The bomb.
The bomb shelf. Yeah, the bomb shelf.
The bomb shelf.
If you ever get a chance to get the bomb shelf, get it.
Right.
The bomb shelf, is that like
it's
there's like
I think it's like over the top.
Right.
Shelf.
That's the dankest of the dank.
It's like
it's
you're
the
gonna
JonnyBlaze and JayRay of bud.
Yeah, it's the dankest duo.
You're not going to go into a dispensary and they're not going to have like swag, middies, and nugs. It's going to be like nugs, top shelf, and bomb shelf. Like
right.
The bottom stuff is still going to be awesome. Like They're not going to call it like, oh, it's just.
I walk into Pink House and I don't even see a bottom shelf.
Right. It's just you're going nowhere but up. I mean, every time that we've ever had from Pink House, I've been impressed. I mean, honestly, I don't want to say it's the dankest bud in Denver.
No, we're not saying that.
I'm not going to say that.
But let's continue.
But the bomb shelf is nice.
Some pretty dank OGs.
Yeah. Dank OGs.
No, they do a good job. And the one thing I'll say, the name, I don't even understand the name. Other than growing up, we had a Pink House. The house that I lived in, like the majority of my childhood until I went away to college, was a 3-bedroom ranch house in a suburb of Des Moines, Urbandale, and it was pink.
It was pink.
Yeah, so we still refer now to that house as the pink house. So I actually kind of have 2 pink. It's a weird.
Have you been to the one on Pearl Street?
Yes, I have actually.
It's pink.
Is that the original one?
I'm not sure.
It's old because it's in like a residential type.
Yeah,
area.
yeah, it's real low key. You wouldn't really. I didn't expect it there.
Cool, that's awesome. No, they do good. They do good.
I do like them.
No, let's actually take another little break, and then we're gonna get talking about this. And this is medical marijuana using parents get their baby back. This should be interesting. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Reefer Madness Radio.
Reefer Madness.
We're back. I wonder if Jay is listening live. He better be.
I hope he is. Citizen Jay.
Citizen Jay.
It is an honor to be here. That's all I got to say.
Oh,
it really has. I've been
half
excited.
an hour's flying by. We got more to go.
We do.
No, I think Dane brought up an interesting point on the break. This is a positive story. And I guess at some point we need to find a story that one of us disagrees on so we can start arguing or something on the show. I don't want to go kumbaya the whole hour every time, but we have kind of talked a lot about just like, this going wrong and that going wrong and just like people dying and cops killing people and like having negative things to say and people going to jail and all this and that. But like, I guess being able to smoke pot in your backyard is a good story. It shouldn't even really be much of a story at all because it should never have been illegal to
begin with.
Yeah, they shouldn't have had this. What's wrong? I don't know what ordinance they're proposing and what's the problem. But anyway, so essentially that story is it was originally started out as a bad story. This again maybe shouldn't even be a story either. That in Michigan where there is medical marijuana, there were still some parents that had their kid taken away because
by the state
because I think they were growing as well. It's not that they just had weed on them; they were growing. They had plants in there. Like it was accused of essentially having a drug home,
right?
And they were taken away from them by police, welfare people, and those people claiming to do it under the auspices of the safety and well-being of the child. But first of all, I cannot foresee how taking away a child from a parent when they're abiding by all state laws, everything's fine, they do not, then why is the state welfare system coming in and taking them? It just didn't make sense.
Right.
But they're getting it back.
Right. I mean, when it comes to the seizure of another person's child, especially when that seizure is based upon marijuana use or the existence of marijuana on the premises of where the child is spending the majority of his time, I think it's a little irrational for them, especially in a state that's legalized. But then at the same time, as I say that, not in this particular case, but I can see how it can become a problem in the future. I'm not saying that these parents are irresponsible in this particular case, but what I'm saying is, sometimes, I just don't think it's right for children to see, to be influenced to be smoking. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I mean, and some people might not agree with that, but I don't agree that. I think you should make your own choice, of course, in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when children see you do things, they think that they make it acceptable for themselves, regardless of what it is. It could be anything.
Sure.
They always look up to their parents. So for them, I mean, I don't think it's wrong for them to be okay with it be smoking part of your everyday life, but at the same time, I think that each person kind of deserves their own, their own, to be their own person, so they shouldn't be, there's some things that children shouldn't see. And I mean, some people might believe that smoking's one of those, and I can't say that they're wrong.
Well,
and that might be a little bit controversial.
I mean, I don't, it's like.
But it's like alcohol, though.
That's what.
And I believe that too. Like I mean, I don't think you should drink in front of your kids.
Well, that was the thing I was going to kind of come to. Like, with
I
swearing,
really
you kind of have to lead by example.
Those things you have to leave out of that child's life. I mean, I'm all for that. Like, they shouldn't be influenced by the things that you do. You should be a parent.
That should just be a personal choice. We aren't taking people to jail because they're swearing in front of their kids, because they're drinking alcohol in front of their kids. Like, do you necessarily think it should be? Because again, it says that they are medical marijuana. They were both. Patients, each a state-approved marijuana
I'm not talking
user.
about this case particularly. I don't think that they should have been able to I think that's ridiculous that a state that enables the use of medical marijuana for them on those grounds alone to seize their child that's irrational, for sure.
Yep, because there was the county's Child Protective Services unit said the Greens might be exposing their infant daughter Bree to marijuana. It just says exposing their infant daughter to marijuana. It doesn't really say
it doesn't go into too much detail. She does have a really good quote in there, and it said something about her that in this day and age that people assume that parents that use marijuana are bad, and it's drug war hysteria.
Yeah, the idea that medical marijuana patients can't be good parents is just drug war hysteria.
That's right.
She's 49 of Ann Arbor. Aren't the first to suffer the loss of a child. This has been going on almost since the law passed. Golson is founder of the Michigan Moms United, which she calls a campaign to re-educate the public and legislators about how the failed drug war destroys families.
Right.
So, I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you shouldn't. There's some things you shouldn't do in front of your kid, but gosh, to rip a kid away from their family.
That's just too much.
I mean, I think the kid probably was living with grandparents.
You could only hope.
Something, but
you could only hope.
It's a political bias, though. They should look at it the same way they would treat alcohol. They should go by the same systems and standards to measure abuse as they do for any other substance.
If anything, if not less, obviously, because it's less harmful. But that should be the most. The most.
But in some family situations, though, they do I mean, when it comes to an alerted status, when they are already investigating a particular family, like in some kind of domestic violence, like alcohol is always one of the things that they check for. Alcohol, they're always limit you on that. So I mean, in the same regards as to treating. I agree with you. They should treat it the same way that they treat alcohol. Like, they shouldn't have the right to just go in there, kick down your door, take your daughter without any grounds other than medical marijuana. They should, it should be the same thing. It should be a due process. If they have an investigation, they have an investigation. They test for this, they do that. I mean, if it's endangering, if they find it endangering, I mean, as part of I think it should be a due process rather. I just don't agree with them being able to take someone.
They mentioned too, and they mentioned it in the trial, that maybe they should do a swab test, see if the baby's ever been exposed to cannabis. Right. Real simple.
Right. That would change things for sure.
Yeah. There's no reason why a responsible parent that is a medical marijuana user wouldn't. Why not?
At the same time, though, I don't want to go on the record or anything like that, but there are a lot of parents who do use cannabis. And give it to their children, epilepsy being a major
right. I've heard articles about that.
CBD, CBN, different forms like cannabis oils and stuff like that. So at some point, I feel like it's going to come to a head, and they're going to have to make legislation on giving cannabis to children. And I think if you can, pump a child full of the chemicals that it takes to commit to chemotherapy, I think you should also have the same right to put a few essential oils from a plant into your child as well, especially if you're seeing profound results, which we have in many medical states where parents have chose to give in their children, like CBD and CBN.
Gosh, yeah, I mean, you hear of kids
patches.
where like just epilepsy is taking over their life and having too many seizures to be able to function, and then
marijuana just like that, reversing the whole process.
Yeah, and that's just
take someone's child away.
Right. And then these people weren't even exposed, weren't even given the kid cannabis. Can you imagine if you're like, as a parent, your child has this medical situation where that cannabis is at least going to help, and then like they're like
710.
Oh, 710. That'd be 710.
That'd be 7. Where's the rigs at?
To then have to face with like, gosh, like, no, I'm gonna have to risk having my child taken away from me, like, just because I chose to give this child the medicine that I think he or she needs. Like, it's terrible.
Can you pass that rock butter, Mark?
Ooh,
smoking out some Ghost Killer, Ghost Train Haze and Star Killer from Erdangus.
All right. You mind if I get a hit of that?
Yeah,
Dane?
go for it.
All right. Oh man.
Big old scoop.
I should probably hit the other side. Scoopy.
But I know, like Jay said, that he does not smoke in front of his daughter, but she knows what it is. He keeps it out of reach, but she still knows what it is and that it's not for her. And that like that's great. Like that seems like a good model, right? But at what point, like, does that change? Like, what if you have a 12 or 13 or 14-year-old, right? You still don't want them using it recreationally. Are you going to use it in front of them? Like, I think it definitely, I don't know, it starts to, you want them to, I don't know, I guess see that you want them to see positive examples of it, but you don't want them to be, I don't know, what do you think?
I think at that time in their life, though, you also have to be cautious of as, if it's legalized, I mean, and especially in school, you're going to hear about it. People are going to talk about it. It's going to be something that's talked about, especially by teenage kids. Like, they'll be interested in it regardless, because they won't be fully informed about it, especially coming up into their teenage years. So, I mean, I'm sure word about it will spread. So I'm sure by 12 or 13, she'll probably already know what marijuana is. I mean, if she didn't at an earlier stage.
But like, I remember as a kid, like, we'd go, to some sort of social thing with the family and the parents, and the dad would have a couple of drinks, and then the mom would, I kind of remember sometimes dad would be like, oh, I just had 2 drinks. All right, fine, drive home. And mom would just be like, it just doesn't matter. You just had one. Like, I think it was maybe even his example for us kids, like, just, yeah, like, just
popping them open. I remember my dad. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not really good.
It's okay.
It happens. Right. It's not a good model to go on.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I guess it's just kind of a, leading by the most positive example you can. It's not like you need to hide it, but you need to obviously be showing some very responsible use.
And I'm sure not everyone can show that responsible use. I'm sure there's going to be people that are reckless, though. And so, when it comes to that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's where we should also think about that when we're thinking about the laws that we should put in state, because, I mean, there are going to be people that are reckless, So if we openly let this happen, that there could be repercussions that we don't really necessarily see, from. Like you said, like drinking and driving, like smoking and driving. That's another issue, I mean, you kind of have to look at it both ways.
But you just don't like the idea of people like using in front of their kids, or
I don't know. I guess that's just a personal thing, though. I'm at odds with it. I really am at odds with it. Like, I mean, at the same time, like, I don't want to glorify it. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
And I feel like that's what it did. I feel like that's what it does. When you're in front of children or in public, even either. When you're hitting a joint or something, it's. I mean, you might not see it as glorifying, but I just remember being 8, 9 years old, and looking at people that smoke cigarettes.
That's why they took that shit out of movie. A lot of, like, I think it's PG, you can't smoke cigarettes in the movie.
Right.
Or something like that.
Because and I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason why I ended up starting to smoke cigarettes, which I did, but I mean, like, those, though, I remember those things. Those were large influences in my life, you know. So I mean, I couldn't see. I really don't want to be that influence when it comes to marijuana to someone else, you know. I mean, as much as I am with the music, you know, like in public, I got to at least, you know what I mean. I want to at least be responsible.
That's totally true, bro. I'm gonna go on public here. My mom's not gonna ever see this though. The first time I ever smoked a cigarette and I did not inhale because I didn't know how to inhale. I didn't know the concept of inhaling. I was in 3rd grade and there's a pack of Dorels just sitting on the counter, and I snatched them and I took them to my buddy. I was like, "Oh, I got cigarettes!" Like, we got cigarettes. We didn't know what to do, and we're just like trying to smoke on these things, you know. And if it weren't for my parents exposing me to that, I would have never smoked a fucking cigarette. And you know, I used to smoke cigarettes from 18 to 21 or 22 until I quit. When I moved here a year and a half ago, I haven't smoked a cigarette since, but it's because of my parents, you know. That's why. Because I used to see them smoke and they had access. I'd steal their cigarettes, you know. Start buying my own pack. Like,
and the same thing would go for weed, you know. So I mean, we'd have another generation of kids growing up glorifying the concept of weed, and maybe forgetting the medical part of it, you know, like you know, I just don't want the class of it to go away. You know, it's got to be, you know, it's got to be handled with class.
That's how I smoked my first bowl too. My buddy stole some weed out of his dad's toolbox, and we tried to smoke that too.
I guess you wrestle with like being classy. We were like doing it with class, but then you essentially are showing kids, you know what I mean? Then again, like our 10-year-old sees that, oh wow, that's really classy to smoke weed. Like
no, what I mean is like when you're showing class but smoking weed, you're in a different room and they're not looking at you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not inside of a child. You know what I mean? I feel that way. Like I said, you know, if you put that influence on them, like I think that's a bad thing.
I used to have a drug dealer who had children, and he would just let their kids run around while he was selling and smoking. And his oldest daughter, you can just tell that she had a sense of almost jealousy of the people who came over because they're like robbing her of her time from her dad. But on top of that, though, she also understood, you know, at her age, I think it was like 6 or 7, the concept of cannabis and marijuana. So they had to sit down and really explain to her what was going on, just so she wouldn't, you know, tell someone out at school. Yeah, to educate the child. Right. Yeah, actually parent the child or whatever.
Right, to take some time to do that. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like I mean, like, you know, all selling drugs aside, I mean, they shouldn't see that side. You know, they really shouldn't. In my opinion, like, we shouldn't influence them. That they have enough things around them that influence. Like, if we should do anything, I think, like the medical portion of it, yeah, you know, like, I mean, I'm all for it, but at the same time, with that medical portion comes the recreational side of it all, you know, and that's the side that you really have to stay on your P's and Q's about, because it's really easy to get misconstrued, you know, like, and I don't feel like they should consider it a normal thing until they can understand what it is, you know, and being 6 or 7 years old, seeing your parents blowing bowls and like smoking weed all the time, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like,
man, I hear you. Yeah.
It is a new day and age, though, you know. And I mean, and it's all about how you present. It's all about how you raise your child, you know. At the same time, so I mean, whether they see you smoking or not, you can still raise your child responsibly. You can still teach them things. Like, just because you smoke weed doesn't limit your capacity to raise a human being. You know, that's not what I'm trying to imply at all. I just feel like the smoking part, like that part. You know, it should be, you should introduce it to your child when you feel like it, but you shouldn't introduce it and let it be misconstrued. You know, You shouldn't introduce it and let them think that that's cool, or you let them think that that's what everyone does. You know, they have to understand why this is, you know, why marijuana, what it is, you know, embrace the beauty in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think I understand what you're saying. Let's take a quick break. We'll get back to it. We'll wrap that conversation up. We'll see how the edibles were. Maybe another quick topic. We'll be back soon.
Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Canisher understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Canisher has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at canisher.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
Independent Records and Videos has been your locally owned and operated choice for music, movies, and lifestyle accessories since 1978. Independent Records and Videos has 7 locations from Denver to Colorado Springs to Pueblo to serve your entertainment needs. Whether it's vinyl, CDs, DVDs, books, smoking accessories, or hundreds of other fun and fanciful items, Independent is ready and waiting to make your dreams come true. We are always buying, selling, and trading vinyl, CDs, books, and DVDs, so sell yours and buy ours. Independent Records and Videos, your entertainment headquarters. Check us out at beindependent.com or on Facebook.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
Our juice director educates her daughter on. We're live now. Hey, shit, we're talking during the break.
Right.
And anyways, we're just talking about educating your children and letting them know and understand what cannabis is and to respect it and not to say it's bad, because then they'll think you're a bad person. So don't lie to them. Just be honest with them. And I know plenty of parents who do that, especially with edibles. These are special edibles and maybe in a special container and really get serious about that kind of education.
Yeah, because, again, hiding is just going to be like, you might as well just be encouraging it because, I don't know, like that's the one thing, like,
education is the most important thing. They have to know. I mean, with anything.
There's nothing I hated more than, like, because I said so.
Right.
Like,
man. Why do I gotta
does
do
that
this?
mean?
But then children do ask why a lot. Why?
I know.
But you should always oblige that why, especially when it comes to something as important as marijuana.
Can you oblige at least 3 whys? Right,
maybe 4.
Okay,
I was inquisitive as a younger kid, and
why?
Yeah,
why?
Yeah,
why?
My dad used to do that shit to me.
Right.
Say something and then they go off and say something.
Yeah, and then they build from that.
Well, my dad said it's because of this.
Wait,
that's wrong. Actually,
I guess. I mean, as long as it's like you teach what you most need to learn. Like if kids asking why, like I don't know, I feel like that would really kind of make me get to the bottom of some things. Like, wait, why? Okay.
That's a good question.
That's a good question, son.
Why?
Why do you think?
Damn it. Yeah. How do you feel?
I don't know. What's the wonder of this? No, that's fine. Do you feel like the edibles is kicking in?
Yeah, it's real airy. I like it. I mean, I'm kind of loose. I've had a long day, so I can definitely feel it. Those dabs, though. What flavor did you say this was?
That's Ghost Killer. It's a combination of Ghost Star, Ghost Train Haze, and Star Killer.
It felt like a
OG
knockout punch to the jaw.
It's like a Jedi and Rare Dankness 1 and then a Rare Dankness 2. Thrown in there together with the Ghost Train Haze, Neville's Rag.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's got a really nice consistency to its powder.
Yeah. As soon as it goes above, I think it's 84 degrees or 74 degrees, it'll turn to shatter.
Dude, I remember getting that in the summer and
clear.
like getting
beautiful.
Like, would leave the dispensary with. I wouldn't really show up with the cooler, but I would leave with like it in a plastic bag with some ice.
Yeah, I remember Robbie. I remember Robbie would just. He was
keep it cold. Man.
Yeah, he was so pertinent on keeping it ice cold. Because
I don't know.
In the hotel, we kept it in the. We kept it in the freezer.
Exactly, because that's what you got to do. Because I don't know how they get it that consistent. Tell us, what's the secret? How do they get it that consistency?
Tell us.
It's just a winterized process.
It's a what?
Huh?
Closed loop. That's all I can say.
Closed loop.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means it's never exposed to the elements inside before it's done, before they want it to be exposed.
Right.
Does that involve a machine or a process?
Several machines, including a vacuum.
Is that because when it gets introduced, it changes?
Yeah, well, they just keep it in a vacuum because you can manipulate the temperatures and consistencies a little bit different inside of a vacuum, and they're just looking for that texture, that consistency. So, that way we can serve it to our.
So you don't have to keep this cold. This is rock butter, right? This is.
Yeah. Or we can take it a step farther and make it shatter, which we're releasing coins right now, shatter series, and we have regular shatter, which is kind of like a clear flake that we have crammed out.
Beautiful.
Or you can shatter it yourself, which is what I prefer to do. Especially if it's a high THC strain, it's crystal clear. You can go ahead and take it, put it on some thermal paper, or what's the parchment paper, just heat it up, shatter it out.
That's a really good tip. I heard you talking about that earlier, and I just thought about it. That's a really good tip.
Dude, but I do not like the consistency. Oh, you said okay. I was gonna say I don't like the consistency. Why would you purposely turn it to shatter?
Well, for two reasons. One, flavor, and it activates it, and the density. You can get more smoke and one little session on a dab, and the flavor. And it's just a little different.
So you hate the shatter? Is that what you're telling me?
I hate shatter.
You hate shatter days?
There's one thing
you don't celebrate shatter days. You're the shatter Grinch.
Just shatter Grinch. I like that. I do not recognize shatter days, but that's not because I'm a shatter hater.
I prefer shatter, Mark, because I'm clumsy and I have spilt about 4 grams now to the carpet gods of my rock butter.
I just
there goes all the powder.
But I feel like you like the shatter, like you go to like crack one off and it goes.
It pops off.
I guess you have to.
I don't like it.
You gotta get it out of the case. You gotta put it in the paper.
I don't like that parchment paper. I've seen Tony talk about that parchment paper and how annoying that is. I know that.
We're stepping up to thermal paper now, to be clear. So we have it in like a glass container, and it's just gonna be like almost 3D, just sitting in there, and then you can take your thermal paper and I don't know,
activate it.
Yeah.
And now you activate it just by you touching it with your fingers.
Yeah. You just heat it up,
and it just turns into shatter.
Yeah, it's fun. It's real fun.
That's cool. As long as it stays on the paper, because that's like Mark was saying. The reason why I don't like shatter is because I go in there with my tool and try to pop it off, and it just shoots out. And then there's 0.2 of a gram, I guess, and I've
been there.
Charged to the game, so that adds up.
2/10. That's a big thing.
I'm sure we could find that in the in the carpet, but I mean,
we would look for that. If it was 0.2 of a gram, we would look for that.
How you guys feel about wax?
I like it. I mean, I like flour. Yeah, I like the consistency. I like rolling. It's soothing, I like smoking. It's like a long process. When I dab, I don't feel like I'm actually getting a smoke, I don't actually feel like I'm sitting down. I mean, you heat up the nail and you grab your dab, and it has a process to it, but I don't feel like it's the same as rolling up some papers or rolling up a blunt and smoking.
Or even a bong bowl. I kind of like a
a bong bowl.
You can think going,
shake it up a little bit, get the whole bowl, turn the ESPN on.
Clean up the water, like
game.
Oh.
I love it.
I even brought it to people.
There's nothing like flour. That's all I gotta say. Nothing like flour. I mean, I really like wax and rock butter, and the essential extracts, and
Oh, I'm all about seeing what's next and all that sort of thing. But
CO2. I'm really liking CO2.
I do find that, I don't know. I'm missing something like smoking a couple of flour bowls. Like there's just something.
Yeah, it's just nothing like it, man. Nothing at all.
Yeah, and I know maybe it's a little bit of nostalgia or whatever. I love packing a bong bowl, passing it around. I know people that love rolling up a blunt.
Yeah, that is my thing, especially being from Texas. Like I mean, and a lot of people don't like it up here. A lot of people smoke joints, and I mean,
dude, even spliffs. I know people that will put a little tobacco in there.
And I'm not even about it like that. Like I mean, I do smoke cigarettes, but there's just something about getting a cigarillo, a 2-pack of cigarillo, breaking down some bud, rolling them up, lighting it, and just, I mean, whoever's with you, it's 16 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You put a gram and a half, 2 grams in there, that stick will burn for 16 to 18 minutes, and you just have that session. And it's, it's like a sort of like a meditation. I don't know. You don't get that from dab.
No, I see you going. It's like a consistent. It just kind of keeps going. It's like a
dab just feels like a hard drug unless you have like. If you have an e-nail, it's a little more.
Right, and I haven't hit an e-nail since we went to the cup. So I hit one there.
The cannabis cup.
Yeah, that's 420.
Yeah, I don't know about I mean, an e-nail just seems a little complicated or like a machine.
But no, if you guys did you guys had a volcano?
No.
No.
No, well, we had a volcano, and it was, I think, JayRay bought it. It was 2011 maybe, and it was like $600. The same price as e-nail now. And I mean, it was for vaping bud, and that's basically, dabbing wax. It's like it's the same price, it's the same concept. I mean, like I don't know. I think it's reasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable at all.
Still though, nothing beats a bong bowl.
Hey, what do you guys think about the new attachment for the vaporizer? If you have Silver Surfer or Buddha, you can dab on it now.
What?
Throw
what? We have a Is it only the Buddha though?
Yeah, or
does the regular? I mean, because basically the only difference is the
the
faceplate, right?
Surfer, yeah.
Because we have the basic Silver Surfer, but I mean,
how can I take that heating unit and use it to heat it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's a titanium bowl that goes on top. They have a little ceramic or like glass dish that goes in it to diffuse the oil. There's a glass dome, and then there's also same wand as a regular wand, but it has a little bowl to catch the oil, so you're not wasting it. You can scrape it out with your tool.
So is it like an e-vaping?
Yeah, pretty cool. If you live in Colorado Springs, you can check them out at a.
Because 7th floor is down there, right?
Lazy Lion, yeah. They have the 7th floor store, and they also have a couple smoking lounges that are sponsored by 7th floor. That's where I seen them at. Was
it the Lazy Lion or the Easy Vape Lounge? I saw they have like a place in the back. That's like
I think it was the Easy Vape.
Yeah, because that's where the meet and greet was at.
Speakeasy.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Because I mean, I have a Dabuda, and I don't want to say I don't use it a lot, but
if I could dab with it, just sit on the couch.
But do you have a vaporizer?
Yeah, Dabuda.
Why don't you use it?
Because the wand's broke, and it doesn't medicate me fast enough, so I'd have to sit there for like 2 hours to medicate.
That's my thing.
I like the Silver Surfer, though.
I love the flavor.
I have a Dabuda, the Silver Surfer. No, I had for a while.
Smoking, but
I think that thing needs a head issue.
You might need cleaning it.
No,
are you saying it's not getting hot enough?
The Silver Surfer was not getting hot enough.
Right.
But I don't have that anymore.
You have to have a technique.
I have the Dabuda.
Yeah, there's a technique with the slow draw.
No, seriously, it was like all the way up, and you
super slow draw.
It was all the way up, and you could not.
Yeah, you got to twist it. You got to jank with it a little bit.
Oh, you got to twist it. No, that was the SSV did not have the glass on glass joint. The Dabuda I have has that glass on glass joint, and that's like it's kind of hard to do that. That's sort of like rotation of it with it.
Well, the Buddha, I just popped that thing in there. I remember playing video games.
I love the Silver Surfer.
Take it in my mouth. That sounds weird, but
yeah,
go with it.
I mean, playing video games, it was the best. Slow draw on the Silver Surfer was delicious. Brought the taste out. I think Anthony has ours.
That'd be cool right now.
We got it. I'm 100%. You know what? We were at the costume party last night. They were using Anthony. Does have it. I mean, I'm pretty sure. JayRay sold it to him for dirt cheap. I'm talking like I don't even want to say it on air, but we bought it for like $600. JayRay sold it to him for like
fractions,
$100. Oh, but just because we were moving up here, you know what I mean? Like,
what about me? I would have.
But then Anthony ended up coming up here too.
That's cool. No, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah. Dude, this hour's flown by. You guys are awesome.
It went quick. I appreciate you having me, man. I really am. JonnyBlaze again, blowing mad trees.
Yeah, you're awesome.
And I'm honored to be here. Appreciate it.
No,
straight up.
And your buddy JayRay was here too. He had to leave. He had other obligations, but that's all good. And Dane, dude, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome anytime.
Check out Cannabis Review TV on YouTube this Saturday. I have Flow G Friday. You can check out nice greenhouse buds.
Nice. Yeah, no, you
22 minutes.
You do good work.
If
you like my professionally edited videos, you'll definitely like what Dane does because he's got some awesome access.
I've been inspired by your angles and like your blog stuff. Like you had one video, you're like in the bathroom and you're like outside in your bike and you're just like chilling at the park. You're just like, it was cool.
Little day in the life thing, yeah. I got made fun of that because it was like, you're just smoking all day. I was like,
well, I'll get out there.
Video. That's what it was. But no, thanks guys. You guys been awesome. I appreciate you joining for the show.
Word.
And people listening, thanks for being live. Thanks for listening. And we'll be here next week. So Reefer Madness Radio. Check it out.
It's an honor to be here.
Damn. Cheers.